Elections. So first, let me thank and congratulate everyone for the outcome in our elections. Okay, we know how critically important that elections are to our jobs, to our families, to everything we do as police officers. We had outstanding results in every race but one that we made an endorsement in. We were victorious. And that's due in no small part to your efforts, the efforts of the board, the efforts of the PAC delegates, most of all, the efforts of every single one of our members that came out and volunteered. We continue to smash through records. We had 1,600 members this cycle come out and knock on doors and volunteer for our endorsed candidates. I can't underscore the importance of that enough. And that's why we are who we are, why we are the best police union in this country. It's all due to the work that you do every single election cycle. Now, one place that we could have a little improvement is the early voting. Okay? So as of election night, only 60% of our membership had voted. That means that 40% of us, despite the text messages that you received, despite the emails, despite the social media posts, chose to wait till election day to vote. Or worse, which we won't know because we don't have the actual results from election days yet. Worse, didn't vote, which inevitably, some people who waited will not have voted. Because things happen, right? We're cops. You get stuck on a call. I'll vote after the tour. And then the you-know-what hits the fan, and all of a sudden, your vote doesn't count. Now, why the disconnect? We had 1,600 members come out and do something much more difficult than voting. They actually went out, went door to door, spoke to the community. So our members came out and did that in record numbers, and yet we didn't early vote like we should have. So I take responsibility for that. I think we do a pretty good job of getting the message out of why it's important to volunteer, and that's evident in the numbers. But we're not doing a good enough job of telling you why it is critically important to not only vote, but to early vote. Now, you may say, Lou, a lot of these races this year, there was no opponent, right? You might have lived in an area where there wasn't a real race. The DA didn't have an opponent. And you might think, I did what I needed to do. I came out, the politicians saw me, I volunteered my time, and that's what matters. That certainly does matter, but that voting matters just as much. It matters just as much, even if it's not a real race. Why, you ask? Because when you vote, you become that super prime voter, right? You ever hear when they do these polls, right? They have one candidate way in front and one candidate way behind. You wonder, who the hell are they polling? They poll the super prime voters. In other words, they turn to the people that actually vote. If you don't vote, when they look at your voting record, if you don't vote in every single election, you lose that status. You no longer matter. You take yourself off the chessboard. They're not polling you anymore. They're not looking you at anymore. Those super prime voters are what both parties prioritize. You are the most coveted. You are the one they're spending money on. You are the one they're gearing the television ads to, the one they're sending the text messages to. You are the decision maker because most people don't vote. So to the parties, to the people in power, they don't exist. When the politicians themselves go and knock on doors, if you're not a super prime voter, they walk past your house. That means they're not hearing from you. They're hearing from some schmuck who wants to defund the police. So whether or not you think the race matters, whether or not there's a real opponent, it is imperative that you vote. Now we've defined the problem. What are we doing about it? So one of the things we're doing, because you took the time to come to a meeting, which means I'm probably preaching to the choir right now, is, you see the video in the back. We're going to make sure that this message gets out to all of our members. If you are one of those unfortunate souls who didn't early vote, or worse, didn't vote at all, your trustee will be reaching out to you to have a conversation to let you know just how important it is and just what it means to our union, to our contract, to our health care for you to vote. Lastly, you're going to see a change in those pocket calendars that we hang out. We're going to be highlighting the days for early voting. There will also be a QR code in there that you'll be able to scan. It will take you right to our endorsements and right to the page to let you know where to go to vote and lock that vote in. So I'd ask the assistance of everybody in the room, talk to your peers, talk to the guys and gals in the precincts, and let them know we're doing a fantastic job in terms of our volunteering, doing what nobody else does, creating that army, that ground game. Fantastic. We got to get better with the early voting. And we will get that done for the next cycle.